Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B, where today we'll be talking about poor things. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. Got Rosie back today. Rosie, how are we feeling?
Pretty good.
Good to hear, good to hear. Today we're here to talk about Poor Things, the newest movie directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. Obviously a star-studded cast. Emma Stone plays Bella Baxter, our main character. Willem Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo both in supporting roles. Rami Youssef, and all of them worked really well together. So we'll hop right into it. Let's start with the good. And I'm going to start with the concept. The concept of this film was really cool. Obviously based off the book, Poor Things. The concept of Willem Dafoe's character, who is Godwin, calls himself God, finds a lady who committed suicide, but isn't all the way, still has some brain activity, or heart activity, I should say, but is pregnant, takes the baby that's alive out, takes her brain, puts it in. It's really cool.
Yeah. I never, not a bit, like I said in our last episode I was with you, I'm not a big book reader, so I didn't know it was based on a book, but I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, it's one of those ones going into... The trailer doesn't give much away. The trailer,
Not
obviously, it shows Emma Stone's character, Bella Baxter, kind of like discovering the world at first, but when you find out why she is the way she is, you're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And that's, she's a grown woman with a baby's brain.
Yeah, the trailer definitely didn't give anything away.
Yeah.
It showed, very minimal of what you see in the movie.
Yeah, and like I said, super cool concept. I thought Yorgos Lanthimos built this world that was beautiful. It was almost, steampunky, Tim Burton-esque type of world that was fun to look at. We get a ship scene, we get Lisbon, we get London, and it's not like what you see in most movies. It's this world that is created in the direction by Yorgos Lanthimos. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was a gorgeous world to look at, and I thought it was really unique when it comes to cinema.
Yeah, the one thing I want to touch on that was at the beginning of the movie when she is still at home and really hadn't explored the world. It was in black and white.
Yeah.
Which is probably how it seemed to her, because she had known nothing outside of her home.
Yeah.
And then once she goes to Lisbon, and then on to Greece, and then on to London,
you see color.
You see color because she's exploring some more of the things. I was not a big black and white movie gal, so I was really hoping for some color, and once it started, it was really great.
I felt like the setting itself did a really good job at using cool colors, like the blues, the greens, just like very cool colors. And then our clothes would be the vibrant yellows and reds.
Yeah, it was
a white
different.
Dress.
It was different than everybody else's clothing in the scene.
For sure. Very good use of color. The color palette is all over the place in this film.
Yes.
Once it turns to color.
Correct.
If you get one of those color palette things, it will be black and white for the first, 40 minutes.
Yes.
But love the use of color. Love the world that was created. Like I said, star-studded cast. It's hard to say something like this because of how talented Emma Stone is, but this might be the best performance of her career. It's up there.
It definitely takes a person to play someone not normal
altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's easy
To play somebody that has a baby's brain and an adult body.
I mean, I can't say it's easy, but it's easier to go and perform as in an adult, but then having to go back to that childlike stage in the beginning where she really wasn't able to piece all those words together, being able to depict that,
Make it look authentic.
and make it look authentic. Like her face was fabulous.
Great
Her
face acting.
acting was stunning. And the walk she had all throughout,
Yeah.
that would probably be the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get so into a role that you just think about things like that. But I think it was stellar. Because sometimes it doesn't always go.
Yeah.
But you have to be a really great actor or actress to pull something unique like that off.
For sure. And everybody, going into this one, everybody knows what it did at the Venice Film Festival. Won Best Picture, took home a bunch of awards, performances, everything like that. And, with the Oscars coming up in March, the big discussion is what will it do there. Obviously, it will be nominated for Best Picture. I would like to safely say Emma Stone locked up Best Actress for 2023.
I really hope so.
Not a big year when it comes to female leads. A lot of great supporting female characters, but the first two that come to mind would be Emma Stone and Margot Robbie and Barbie. And I just think, given, the tone of the story and, I feel like what Emma Stone did was out of this world. Like you said, it's hard to depict something that you're not every day. And not saying Margot Robbie's Barbie, but
yeah,
when you're thinking who's the Barbie of Hollywood, Margot Robbie is the first person that comes to mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I think those will be the top two in the running for sure, but Emma Stone, heck of a performance.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from the others in this. No. I thought Mark Ruffalo did a great job. I thought Willem Dafoe did a great job. I think one of the two will definitely be nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the performances were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think Best Supporting Actor and Actress is going to be a very competitive field. Because there's a lot of great supporting characters this year in 2023. 2023 has been a great year for film, by the way.
It has definitely been.
A lot of great supporting characters, and when it comes to actors and actresses, it's tough to say for sure whether both will get in or even one will get in, but you'd like to think, like I said, just phenomenal acting across the board in this one.
I agree. I love seeing William Dafoe in movies.
Yeah.
He has played a wide range of characters in his very long career as an actor. A very genuine actor. I think even mentioned in the movie that he had a very paternal connection with Bella. Mm-hmm. But you could definitely see that he was definitely the great father figure, great teacher, and scientist.
Being born when I was born, Willem Dafoe is just always, anytime you see him in the cast, I get a little more excited because I was born when Spider-Man was it. And, he's the first villain I really fell in love with.
Yes.
So anytime I see him on the cast list, it's obviously based on the work he's done and that excitement level from my childhood. Willem Dafoe never turns in a bad performance. And here, again, I think the reason all three of these performances in particular, and I wouldn't even leave Rami Youssef out of here. I thought he was phenomenal too as Max McCandless. But this movie required range from everybody in it because it's not your normal movie.
Not at all.
It's odd. It's weird. If you don't like weird, you're not going to like this movie.
Definitely not at all.
It's super odd. It's unique as all get out.
For sure.
And I thought all of the performances in it were unique, showed they've got range, and showed that they belong.
For sure. Because
they're at.
All of the characters go through some sort of change.
Yeah. Oh, the character development. This movie has some of the best character development across the board.
For sure.
Because, in a lot of movies, you're like, oh, your main character had great character development. Everybody had great character development.
It takes a lot to show development in every character in such a short amount of time in a movie. But I believe everybody, even Bella's husband there, her real husband, Victoria's husband at the very end, he had the biggest character arc in such a short amount of time I have ever seen in a movie. I wasn't expecting it, and it threw me. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But he went through so much change
in a short amount of time.
Mentally and physically in such a short amount of time because he wasn't in it till the last half hour, 20 minutes of the movie.
You look at it. Bella Baxter, knows nothing, discovers the world, finds out the things she loves, nobody's going to stop her from doing them, goes to school, wants to be a doctor, kind of like comes back down and wants to follow her father's footsteps, Godwin. Godwin has the character arc of being protective, letting her loose. Now I'm dying. Now she's back. And then Mark Ruffalo's character is in love, slowly falls out of love, hates, thinks she's the devil, isn't a psych ward. Like, everything it's just all over the place, but all of the characters land exactly where you want them to at the end.
I wasn't
Bella Baxter's
sure.
back at home, doing great things, kind of running the thing after her dad passes. She married the right guy. I mean, I don't know if they officially got married, Max and her.
Oh, right.
Because she left the altar at the wedding that's on screen, but you'd like to think they got married since they're living together. But just everything you wanted when the screen said the end kind of got there.
I definitely wasn't sure if it was going to happen or not. Because that ending plot twist, but... Yeah. Again, we'll talk about that when we talk about the end of the movie.
But another thing I loved was the camera work.
Yes.
Another thing that's all over the place. You got your standard, camera on the scene. We've got panoramic shots where the room, you can see the entire room and kind of that panoramic view. You got fisheye shots where it's one character in a fisheye and they're writing or they're doing science or something. It's so cool what Yorgos Lanthimos was able to do with all of these different camera types, angles, everything, and throw it into one movie and make it look as good as it did.
Yeah, I think the panorama was probably the best.
I love the panoramic shots. That was my favorite as well.
My favorite. The one scene where they're dancing, just being able to see everyone dancing and then seeing everyone still sitting at dinner.
Yeah.
And the fight that breaks out, I just think that scene. And
that dance scene might have been my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It shows, once again, Emma Stone's talent when it comes to dancing. Obviously, we got that in La La Land.
Yes.
And we've seen it in other movies she's in, but right there again, that
being able
kind of uncanny dance. It wasn't your normal
being
dance
able
move.
to be a little silly with it, but still pull it off.
Yeah.
And then I could say the same for Mark Ruffalo because he kind of he kind of had to play along with it to make it not seem like she was being funny and tried to get her to dance like with everybody else, and then
I want to take a step back. I feel like we overshadowed Mark Ruffalo because Emma Stone was phenomenal. Mark Ruffalo was amazing.
I agree.
Mark Ruffalo was phenomenal. I love seeing him in this. I've always thought Mark Ruffalo is a little underrated when it comes to acting. There's a lot of actors that I feel like get a lot more clout than somebody like Mark Ruffalo does. And I feel like he deserves a little more respect. And right here, I hope people see, again, the range that he shows in this one, because you have to be weird to be good in this movie. And, even like when he's begging for her back when this is going to sound horrible, but when she's selling herself sex-wise, and he just, Bella. Like, it's so odd, but it's so good. I really loved Mark Ruffalo.
I agree.
Another thing I loved, and Mark Ruffalo, a big part of this, the score. So this is actually the first composed score by Jerskin Fendrix, and I thought it was phenomenal. My favorite song, I can't think of the name of it, but when Mark Ruffalo's character, Duncan, and Bella, Emma Stone's character, have sex for the first time. It's the song you hear in the trailer, I believe.
Okay.
This score, again, unique.
Yeah.
It's not like any other score you've heard.
Very whimsical.
You're not going to hear the score and be like, oh, it's like this. No.
No.
It stands on its own. It's its own thing. And I was listening to it today with you, and I was like, it almost makes me want to cry. Like, it's so beautiful.
It is very nice. It is.
It's easy to listen to, and it's a score that I've already downloaded on Spotify.
Of course, as it should be.
And there's been a lot of great scores this year, but I think it's another score that will be up for best score when award season comes along.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's heard going into this one all the awards it swept at the Venice Film Festival and what it's done so far. And I don't think it's close to done. I think it's just a really great project Yorgos Lanthimos put together, and I'm really excited to see what it does. Again, love the dance scene, love the character development, and then the ending. Like you said, let's talk about the ending. Wild.
Yeah, I was. I don't know what I was expecting from the end. That definitely was not it.
No. I thought it was going to end with the wedding.
Yes, same. And then maybe them like getting, a little bit into the house, and I was sure that God was going to die and things like that. And, But I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen. But it took me a second to connect what was going on. When they're at the altar and this guy storms in, because it was a brand new character in the last half hour of the movie, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I thought the movie was like 2 minutes left.
There's no way that they are introducing a new character right now. No way. And then behind him was Mark Ruffalo's character. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And then they said Victoria, and I thought about when they were in...
on the boat. Yeah, on the ship.
Oh, they were on the ship.
Somebody was like, hey, Victoria.
Yeah, and she was like, I'm
Bella Baxter,
talking about. And that ended up being her husband before she...
Suicide, yeah.
It was the craziest half hour
I was almost
of the
upset for a second. When he came storming into the altar and she said, no, I want to go with him. I was like... I thought the altar was going to be a good ending to the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, and at the moment I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's like 5 minutes left. What are we doing? I didn't realize there was like 20 minutes left. Right. And so as it played out, it ended up working out, like you said, even with the short amount of time in him, he had this whole development. She finds out why she killed herself.
Right. He was awful.
He's a horrible person. It leads to her shooting him in the foot, and then he needs surgery because he's losing so much blood, and they turn him into a goat man.
Yeah.
And it's insane. Like, when I say this movie is weird and odd, if that's not for you, you will not like this movie at all.
No, definitely.
But if you are okay with a little bit of oddity, this movie is a fun ride.
I agree.
It's a whirlwind of just about everything.
I'm glad that she was... she had matured enough through the course of the movie to realize that he... is a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think if he would have came earlier in the movie, that would have probably not been good because she wasn't quite mature enough to realize that he wasn't good for her.
Yeah.
And was an awful person to not only her, but to their servants as well as in the house. But...
You also, the other cool thing to note with Bella Baxter's character is obviously the mental capacity grows the entire movie, but even the physical stuff, like she starts to walk normal as she's in London, and like that, her
she's
walk
like
is normal,
herself.
her talk, her speech is normal. Like, yeah, she grows up. It's crazy to think about because the entire movie she's Emma Stone today, but her mind is a baby to adulthood the entire movie, and I think that's so cool, so unique, and I think that's what I loved most about this movie. Even so much to the point that the stuff I didn't like didn't tarnish it enough for me to,
Yeah, I agree. It definitely, the good outweighs the bad. There really wasn't too much bad, I don't think, or too much that was in our okay, maybe not so good category.
That can segue us to the math. For me, the pacing at some moments was a little meh. Especially at the beginning, I felt like the black and white kind of like I get why they did it. I love why they did it, but it just felt like scenes during the black and white were kind of drawn out longer than they needed to be, and it just kind of messed up the pacing a little bit for me. Again, I love the camera work. The other meh I have is when she first discovers orgasm. They do a close up scene of her mouth. I hated that. Not hated it, but I was like, it's a good shot, but it's super unsettling.
Yeah, because so with go back to the pacing. There was the one shot of, I believe it was the time they went to the park.
Okay.
She wanted to get out because she saw the ice cream on the side of the road. Then she had the big fit in their carriage, and he chloroformed her. And they went back home. and their maid.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name. She strips her down, and she just like covers her up and for her to take a nap. But that scene of like her feet moving was at that time.
Yeah, that was super long.
I didn't like that, but then you realize what she was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then cuts to your part that you're talking about. So
Some
it
of
was
the
like
scenes
two
were just,
long
like-
scenes kind of back to back in a
lot
short
of the
amount of
pacing
time.
was odd for me in the beginning.
The other
first
one,
act.
I think they were in Lisbon, and she goes out without Duncan.
Yeah.
And she hears this lady singing and playing whatever instrument she was playing. But that, like, back and forth between them, I didn't really like that either.
Yeah.
Like, her, like, kind of... Because I didn't get it. It's not like she's never heard music before.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning scene, she's playing the piano. I mean, it's not good music, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been different if, like, she was experiencing music for the first time, but I don't think that she was. So I think maybe that could have saved a few minutes, because that back and forth scene, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, like, so unnecessary, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't lose value, I don't think, but I think it would have had more value if maybe she was experiencing music and people singing for the first time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there was a few pacing things, but that was the one I really noticed.
Anything else for you in the Met?
Yes, actually, and I didn't mention it to you, or anyone really. The fella that they meet on the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
With the glasses?
Yeah, he's played by Gerard Carmichael.
Yes. There's one shot, Bella is laying in like a recliner chair, and then Martha, the older lady, is sitting next to her in a chair, and then his name's Harry?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. He's sitting in another chair, and they're like having a conversation. He looks very much like he was made with AI.
You think?
I do. Several times. I don't know why.
I didn't think so.
Not his face, but like his suit. I might have to find that scene and have you watch it and see what you think. I don't know, because we had really good seats in the theater and we were very and good shot, but his suit just looked very much fake.
Okay.
And then there was another scene where Harry and Bella are alone. They go to dinner. That was another one of my moments. When they go to dinner, just the two of them, and they see the poor people down in the slum.
Yeah.
I didn't really see the connection right there with anything.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, all she knows is being cooped up in this house, and then she's on a cruise with a bunch of rich people. She doesn't know what poor is.
That's true.
She thinks everybody is at the same,
Yeah.
But...
That was my only other meh, was there was a few... I know, like...
You kind of jogged my memory for one. When she goes to his room to talk to him, and she lays on his bed, and then she leaves, and she goes to collect the money, they switched Bella's room. Because Mark Ruffalo was sleeping in that yellow bed that would have been the bed of Harry with the money when he's passed out with all the money in the bed. Mm-hmm. Bella and Duncan's room was a different room, remember? Because the bed would have been on the other side of the room. And there was a bath.
Oh, yeah.
They switched rooms, and I don't know if that was like an accident or if I'm looking too far into it, or it was just a different camera angle.
It might have been... well, it was.
Well, no, because in the bedroom that they were in to start the cruise, you would walk in the door this way and the bed was over there. In this room, you still walk in the door this way, but the bed was over here and yellow. It was a different color and everything. The room was completely different.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It was something that kind of just threw me off. But
You're good at detecting things like that, though.
But it wasn't, again, it was very minor detail. They're in the room like twice, I think.
Yeah. I'll have to show you that scene where I'm talking about with Harry and his suit. Several times.
For sure.
There was a scene where they were talking on the boat, and like her shirt, and I don't know because like men don't wear like lots of frilly stuff that blows in the wind, and like his hair didn't blow in the wind or anything, but like the shot of Bella was stunning. Her hair was like flowing in the wind, and her fluffy shirt was flowing in the wind, and then it cut to him, and he was just like very like meh.
We'll hop over to the bad. For the bad, I would say the only thing I would say is bad about this movie was, again, it was a pacing issue for me. The long sequences, but there was one that stood out, and that is when she is a sex worker.
Yeah.
I felt like that, her being a sex worker went on forever, and it was just her naked for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think that was... I don't know. That whole scene was not good. The scene with her in the brothel, pretty exactly what it is, actually. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're down and out for money. She just goes looking for a hotel. Technically, a brothel is a hotel.
Yeah.
She gets there. She already finds out that she enjoys having sex and doing those things, so it seemed, and she had matured enough to realize like what she was doing, but I still think she was still a little naive. Mm-hmm. But it was a good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
It fit, like, her doing that, like you said, it fit with the story. They needed money, everything like that. But I just felt like that sequence just went on way too long. I mean, you could have cut that 15 minutes short, and this is an hour and 45-minute movie.
Yeah.
But
I think they wanted to maybe extend it to show, like, her progression, maybe. Like,
I mean,
she was
she
learning...
discovers, like, she wants to start, can we start picking the guys, that, and then she turns it in, like, all right, you say a childhood memory, I'll say a joke, then we'll,
Yeah, she's trying to make it a little bit more enjoyable. Yeah. But I also think she meets that one girl, and they go to their school together, and then she ends up in the final scene. So I think it maybe could have been cut a little shorter, but I think it kind of shows a little bit of another character arc for her. Yeah. Growing, she's still growing. Yeah. Mentally, and I think that shows a lot of growth in that scene. For sure.
Let's hop to our final thoughts and rating the film. Any last thoughts you'd leave on this one, and what do you give it out of 10?
Final thoughts. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know much about it before we went to go see it. We watched several trailers on YouTube a few days before going to see it. We didn't think it was coming to town at all, so we weren't even sure if we were going to be able to see it. So I'm kind of glad we did. Very glad we did, actually. Definitely not a movie I would have seen without you. I don't think. It's very, I don't know. It's just one of those movies. I like weird. It was really, really up there for me. But my final thoughts is that I think star-studded cast, stunning as usual. Really hope they get lots of nominations. Out of 10, let's see. I hadn't even really thought about it. I'm a tough critic, but by the list that we created with good and bad, I really believe that the good really, really, really outweigh the bad. So I'm going to give it 8.
An 8? For me, like I said, I only disliked that one thing, really. Pacing could have been a little better, but it really didn't touch enough for me.
Definitely not.
I hope it has a great award season. This is another one that I'm rooting for. You were right there next to me last year when the Oscars played, and you saw my heart break every time they announced Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I did, yes. I hope this is a better year for us watching it.
I want to see variety. I don't want to see one movie clean house. I know Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon are the popular ones, but I hope this one is up there with them, along with movies like The Holdovers and The Iron Claw. Obviously, this one I think will do great as far as actor categories go. It'll probably be nominated for Best Picture. Would be surprised if it's not. Best Score is something I hope. Best Cinematography, definitely. Stuff like that. I don't want him to win all of that, but I hope
Right.
I hope it takes home an award or two.
For sure.
I hope the love is spread this year. I hope it's not one movie dominating the scene.
I hope if when it's out for a few more weeks and when it gets closer to time, we'll maybe get a little hints here and there on the social media.
Poor Things and Ironclaw did it right. Release in December,
Yeah.
get a little recency bias.
For sure. I agree.
but-
What do you think you're gonna give it out of 10?
For final score, I'm gonna go 9. I was between an 8 and a 9. I'd probably say high 8 if I had to, if I'm really breaking it down. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna land on a 9 here. Like I said, top tier performances, award worthy performances,
sure.
like you said. The score is my
Stunning.
favorite of the year. My favorite score of the year. One of my
Definitely.
favorite scores of all time. Again, a shout out to Jurgen, what is his name? Fredericks or something like that. I might have botched his name. It's a tough name to say, but
It definitely
to
is.
be his first movie that he composed, Chef's Kiss, you did a great job.
It was stunning.
And just, it's an easy watch, despite some pacing issues at the beginning and the sequence at the end. Like I said, like you said, the good outweighs the very little bad there is, and it's just, if you like weird and uniqueness, this is for you, and it was
sure.
for me.
It was.
That'll do it for Poor Things. Thank you again, Rosie.
Thank you.
For coming on.
Of course.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, check out other videos, check out other playlists. Again, subscribe button's right up there if you want to subscribe. Social links will be in the description down below. Make sure you check those out. Click follow. Content always posted, out of theater reactions, review announcements, and more to come in 2024. So if you like what you're seeing, stick around. We thank you all for watching and have a great day.
Peace and love.